You are now listening to Feeding Off Each Other.
Welcome back to Feeding Off Each Other, the weekly podcast where we feed off the talent, humor, knowledge, and awesome stories of our guests and each other. Happy Friday, y'all.
Happy Friday.
I'm Matt the Sandwich Dennison, your host, joined as always to my right by David Southern Lovin' Wiggins, and to my left, Jason Mid-Atlantic Camaraderie Lucas. We're here in North Carolina. We flew all the way across the continent to bring you a podcast from the Ranger Station. If you're not familiar with what the Ranger Station is, it's the Airbnb owned by iconic YouTuber Seth Alvo. And we've set up a makeshift studio here. We're running loose today, very loose,
fast and loose.
But here we are, guys. Let's get right into our intro, which we don't have written for our first time. We have no intro prepared, I think.
We've had to change plans today.
Yeah, we did. We
shifted gears.
It's raining here. We were going to film a video, but it was going to be very dangerous, so we decided let's do a podcast instead. And so here we are with no intro. So let's make it up, okay? You guys, let's do it like one sentence at a time or something.
Yeah, maybe we should do it in a 3-part kind of segment, and one of us gets each part.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, who's going to start it?
I'll start.
Okay.
Today.
Oh,
no,
one word at a time?
I'm kidding. Today, we are coming from a very special part of the world where I would say the most influential mountain biker YouTuber calls home, and that is
North Carolina, Asheville specifically. Actually, more specifically, Brevard. Hello. Brevard? Is that where we are?
Brevard.
Brevard? I don't even know how to say this place. I hardly know where we are.
And we're really happy to introduce Seth Alvo to the podcast today.
And here he is, the man himself,
There
Seth
he is.
Bike Hacks, a.k.a. Seth Alvo.
Yeah, thank you guys for coming all the way across the continent.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
You'd think we could have written an intro.
Yeah, right.
With all that flight time, but
jeez.
But boy, are our arms tired.
But if you're a chother, if you're a fan of the podcast, just know that we did put the time into writing a this or that. So that is But yeah, thanks for having us here. We are at the Ranger Station, which is it's your Airbnb, and it's awesome. Like,
thank you.
It's amazing. And then we went to your house today, which is 100 times more amazing. You got it going on. You're living the dream, my friend.
It looks like that from the outside, doesn't it?
And the inside.
Yeah, I am kind of living the dream. It's not bad.
So it's 3 bedrooms here. We all have our own bedroom.
Very exciting.
There's a bike shop, like a bike workshop in the basement, which is dialed.
Thank you.
It's like a full on.
You know,
shop.
we've never had one tool missing from that bike shop ever.
Oh,
in the
hey,
3
sorry,
years
I
we've
got to
been
bring
open.
something up. No, I'm kidding.
You lost the 2 mil.
No,
Actually, people leave stuff there.
really?
Like we've had like sealants and like tubes and little things, or like, oh, you need some rags, and there's like we have more stuff there than we started because people they do the opposite of stealing.
He gave back. Well,
Yeah.
you even have a GoPro for people to use to document their trips and everything.
Yeah,
It's pretty full on.
It hasn't gotten stolen either.
That's wild.
You know what my theory is if you want to pilfer used tools, renting like a $300 a night house to do it would be not very economical.
That's fair.
What type of people stay here? We're wondering because we flipped through the guest book, and so you come in here and you see Ranger Station plaque. It's the laser cut plaque on the wall. Your photos. There's magazine clippings of you. You have a fan art wall. It's very I was saying to Jason, like we had a moment walking in, like whoa, we feel like we're like in a YouTube video or we're almost starstruck, even though you weren't here. Or it's like when we visited the YouTube space years ago, we just had this moment of like, whoa, we're really here.
It was kind of like visiting Disneyland.
I thought the life-size statue of you in bronze was a bit much, but it was a nice touch.
Bruh. So we flipped through the guest book and we wondered, is it mostly fans of the channel who stay here, or do people randomly come across your listing on Airbnb and then they walk in, they're like, what the hell is all this Berm Peak stuff?
That happens a lot less. Sometimes people come here who just wanted to rent a house in Brevard, and this is the one they find, which it comes up at the top because we have a lot of good ratings, but we have good ratings because people are stoked to be here because they watch the channel. So it's mainly families. They're the ones that can justify renting a 3-bedroom house. And we'll have groups of people that just watch a channel. People come from Miami, Atlanta, Charlotte, Ohio. We have people fly in from outside the country to stay here. It's crazy.
We flipped through there. The guest book. I saw a Marine Corps, U.S. Marine Corps sticker.
Yes.
Yeah, some important people coming
yeah.
through the ranger station.
Have you
Totally.
had any not so kind visitors here?
Just us.
No, they have all been cool.
Really?
Yeah,
Except for us.
They've all given us good reviews. We have only 5-star reviews. We don't have any 4-star reviews, and so they're all good in my book.
That's awesome. I mean, I
Yeah.
can see why. If you're coming here, you probably mountain bike. It's got everything a mountain biker
Yes.
needs. I'm just surprised no one's stealing anything.
So what I will say is we've had a few people that didn't read the dog policy, and so we had these one people who came here with a dog, and they were super cool, and they were apologetic about it and everything, and they paid an extra cleaning fee to get the place all dialed. But the dog, I guess somebody didn't latch the front door completely, so they went out riding. The dog is like super bummed out in here and pushed open the front door and went outside, and the neighbors had to put the dog back in the house 2 times. But that's the closest thing I can think of as a negative experience, yet the people were super cool. So
I have a Pong video game machine. I don't know, like an arcade
You got it, man.
machine.
Yeah.
What the? It's beyond my time.
Box.
Does that thing work? Does that thing function?
oh, it works, yeah.
Okay, because I switched it on. It seems like it's plugged in, but it's not working.
It's not working. I'm gonna have to check it. I'm glad you told me that because nobody told me it wasn't working.
Yeah, well, I was very excited to play Pong. I've never seen anything like that before. Did you see it?
I saw it.
Yeah.
So
We
it's-
gotta have a
it's
Pong tournament.
Not like a classic Pong machine. It just on the exterior it looks like one, and then there's like a little circuit board and flat screen underneath it.
Is it many games?
There are a few games in it, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, there are several.
Is that something that was you bought for this place? Or
I
you had
bought
it?
for this place, yeah. It
Oh wow!
was a Black Friday deal.
Really?
Yeah.
From where?
Amazon.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
You can get anything on Amazon.
Yeah.
You also you hucked off the porch here on your bike. We were just trying to suss out which porch you took off from
It was that one there. So you
with the
can't-
barbecue.
In the video, you're seeing like an entire kitchen with walls and everything, and those 2 walls have since been taken down. So this whole open area, like I rode in one of those doorways and turned and then went there, and then there was no porch. There was just like the skeleton of a porch basically. And yeah, it was out there into the septic field.
It's such a classic. By the way, speaking of septic, like you drive through town and what is it, like a shit refinery or something? It smells awful. Oh my god! I mean, I'm not selling the place right now, but keep going and you'll pass it. You'll get to the ranger station. It smells like flowers here.
I blamed Jason on the ride up. Actually.
I don't think that was Jason.
It's definitely
Although we
not,
did try
yeah.
Chick-fil-A for the first time,
Dude.
so it could have been.
So normally it doesn't smell like that here. I don't know what,
Oh, really?
I don't know what you were smelling. Maybe the sludge truck was pulling up someplace.
Well, on Google
Yeah.
Maps, it looks like there's giant tanks of doo-doo. I'm not sure what it.
There is a transfer station over there. So we don't have garbage pickup here. You either have to hire a private carting company to come take your trash. In our case, they're like, we don't have any capacity. You guys are on your own. So we manually come to the ranger station, load up a pickup truck with trash, and take it to the transfer station.
What do we do with compost here? Because that's always a thing when we come to the United States. Seems like there's not quite the attention on compost. We didn't know where to put it. You just chucking it.
Compost goes in the landfill, and it rots there
Yeah,
as compost does.
yeah.
But we do have recycling, and we have recycling bins at the ranger station, and we personally see to it that goes into recycling.
We're freezing our compost right now in the freezer. So hopefully that does. But just because we got like chicken and stuff, like chicken fat, we don't want it to stink. So
Well, you can't put chicken fat in the compost.
you can't.
No, you can't put meat in compost.
Okay. I learned something today. Maybe not we all.
You can't?
You shouldn't. It's not going to mesh well with all the. It's like different bacterias, I think. Because when you get like back home in Canada, you get those little green bins. They say specifically like no meat products in here.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You guys had Chick-fil-A for the first time?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the more interesting
I'm glad
thing
you,
here.
yeah, I'm
Thank
glad you circled
God.
back. Well, there's this viral TikTok. It's like some strange woman. I don't know if she's putting on an act, but she's asking like, "Do you want the Chick-fil-A sauce?" And she's making crazy faces and stuff. I just went for the Chick-fil-A sauce, which basically is like a honey mustard.
Be completely honest. Like, what did you guys think of Chick-fil-A?
We had a hard time describing this.
Yeah, we all
experience.
tried to rate
So
it.
my experience was great because I went up, I didn't know what to order, and then the woman goes, "Oh, what kind of sauce do you want?" And I said, "Well, I've never been here. You tell me." And she was like so excited on my behalf.
You made her day.
Yeah, and she like hits her other friend on the shoulder, and she's like, "He's never been here."
Her head tilts. You've never been here? Oh, don't do the voice.
And then she goes, "I'll just give you one of every sauce." And then I was like, I think that might be a lot.
And then I sulked and I said, I want the first timer experience. So the other woman, she said, don't worry, I gave you the sriracha sauce too. Almost too much sauce for the meal we got though.
Yeah.
Like, what do you do with all that sauce?
You eat it.
Compost.
Oh yeah.
But
well, no, because it's meat. So
I mean, it's okay. It's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
I mean,
I think any fast food has a hard time living up to the hype of how good a fast food can be. But for fast food, it was good, like breaded fried chicken.
waffle
My
fries
experience.
are always the best fry. I appreciate that. I'm sure the milkshakes are great. Dr. Pepper's a nice treat. You don't get that in Canada.
You do.
What?
Well, you get it, but not at like a fast food.
Well, the problem is in Canada, Dr. Pepper is owned by Pepsi Canada, so it's only with the Pepsi products.
Oh,
So if there's Coke on the fountains, you don't get Dr. Pepper.
guy pops.
Up to a few years ago, I had never had Chick-fil-A either.
And what do you think?
It's fast food chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, fast food's like make-believe food anyway. And so
Yeah.
it's like for make-believe food, it's amazing. But I kind of like McDonald's better.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think McDonald's is better. Like,
Oh, yeah.
If you're gonna eat fast food, you might as well get the fast foodiest of the fast food.
I'll rarely go for the chicken option at a McDonald's or something like that. It's beef. I got to go for the beef. It's just more decadent. I don't know. Also a Big Mac. Good
I
stuff.
hate Big Macs. Anyways,
You guys want to
transition.
continue on fast food for a while here? Or should we
No.
talk about
Let's get more into the composting conversation again. That's what the fans are here for.
So today, the plan was to go ride your backyard, the Berm Peak, the ever famous Berm Peak. And we were going to walk through each feature one by one and then ride them. Jason and I were going to, react to the features. And then the rain, which it was already raining, right, when we got out there, I believe.
And then it just kept dragging on. And here we are. It's still raining. I'm glad we called it.
Yeah.
'Cause
It
we'd just
only
be
got
out
harder.
Waiting.
Yeah. I was a little nervous that we're going to have to hit all the features in the wet. And I was like psyching myself up to do so. I was getting ready. But yeah, I mean, a little bit of chicken wire on those maybe would have been a game changer. Would have been good to go, but
Maybe.
I don't know.
You think chicken wire? I mean, chicken wire is like wet and slippery too. I never feel like chicken wire actually makes it that much better.
I'm not sure.
When
There's a
it's
Chick-fil-A
raining, yeah.
joke here somewhere, Dave. Come on, work on it.
I was like, let them keep talking.
Please. But yeah, so we had to we had to change plans, but we had a good time just chatting and seeing your place. I mean, that was the second other moment that we had where we're like, whoa, we're really at his house. And it's a phenomenal house. You got it going on.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever I see places that I've seen, like I had that experience recently because I went to Utah and I went to Matt's Off-Road Recovery and I got to see the workshop that they work in. And I was about to say, oh, this looks smaller in real life. But then I thought, okay, so many people have said that to me before. And I'm like, yeah, it's a garage. What do you say to that? Everything looks smaller in real life. Like you get there and you're like, oh, the house is right here. The features right, like it's all right here. And for some reason, when you're seeing all these separate shots and everything's this like world that you see online, it looks different. Like what was your impression?
Yeah, it looks different, but I would say it's weird going into a space that you already know where everything is, but you've never been there before. So like you have your editing bays like up high on the mezzanine.
Yeah.
And then the workshop down below and like the table saw. And I'm like, yeah, it's all right here. It's all as it was on the YouTubes.
Yeah,
You know?
may have felt a little bigger actually for me
It's
because
a tall ceiling for sure.
the shot where you usually film yourself, I thought it was just like a wall there, but then it kind of extended beyond that. But I mean, I just love all the DIY stuff, everything you've made in there, and it's from like the shelves to everything. And I mean, yeah, you're living the dream. That's what I would love to be able to do, something like that and just build everything from the ground up. Well, you didn't build a house.
No. And there's always a part of me that's like, oh man, wouldn't it be great if I just didn't have any crap and I just lived in like a shack somewhere and I had nothing to worry about. But like, I'm the type of person that needs to have a space to tinker with stuff. That's just part of who I am. And so that workshop is a good illustration of that.
And everything seems futuristic and automated in some way. You got the biggest Roomba I've ever seen. Also, your lawnmower, your lawn mows itself.
Yes.
I've never seen that before.
It does. It does. And I'm not into lawns. Like, to me, if there's green in every spot that there was once dirt, I've succeeded. And so just having that thing go around circles and mow in random directions is fine with me. It works. It works great.
And we also met your filmer, Curtis. And he's great too. I really like Curtis. So you've worked with him for 6 years now, was it?
I would have to go back and check, but it's probably something like 6 years. Curtis and I have been working together for a really long time, and I call him a producer because he really does. Like, we come, especially on Berm Peak Express, we really think through the ideas together. I'm usually the one writing the notes and coming up with the main concept, but then when it comes time to shoot it, we're really discussing the way that the video is going to come out as we're shooting it. And so it's really good to have the same person that's shooting also do the edit, because there's this whole conversation that happened during the shoot that is really hard to communicate to somebody else.
Yeah, I mean, it was fun to be able to take a peek behind the curtain there for the first couple hours and see how you guys were doing things. And that you guys really are shooting the shit, like making it up as you go. In this case, at least. I'm sure some videos are a bit more planned.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, he had 2 cameras over the shoulder, 2 different mics. He's swapping between them. You guys are, we're redoing stuff. You're problem solving on the fly. It's good to see it's good to see another person's process to, just broaden the mind and broaden like how we can do things at home.
It's really fun to watch other people make videos, because sometimes there'll be something very similar to the process that you might use, and there'll be other things that are completely different. Like, it's rare that I hang out with other creators, actually, all things considered. But when I do, I always take something away from it because their processes are all so different. But the types of videos that we do normally are more planned. We normally have everything laid out, and we normally are really efficient. But when it comes to an experience, like I'm riding with people for the first time, or I'm taking somebody and showing them Berm Peak for the first time, or in our case, we have a plan and we have an order of operations and we know a little bit what to expect, but we are making some decisions on the fly to make sure that the video is understandable and it just doesn't become a mess that becomes a really miserable edit.
Howdily dood each other, nation. You love the show, you love the pod, you love the boys. Well, why don't you support us by purchasing some of our merch on mahalamydude.com.
That's right, Matthew. We've got the finest selection of t-shirts, stickers, and hats you've ever seen. Plus, we even have feeding off each other sticker packs so that you can proudly show off your love for the show on a mug, laptop, your dog, your mom, whatever.
And as a special gift to you, our beloved Chuthers, we're offering 10% off your next order with the code FEEDING. That's right, head to mahalamydude.com and use code FEEDING for 10% off your next order.
And now,
back to the pod.
And to me, you guys have your black belt in YouTube video creation. But it was interesting to hear that, I mean, I don't know if you want to talk about it, but you're going to take a course soon.
Yeah. So a lot of YouTube creators have taken this course. I was pretty apprehensive about it at first. I'm like, what am I really going to get out of this? But lately, in addition to the course, I've just been doing more research about my audience and my YouTube channel, because when I first started my YouTube channel, it was almost like I had it right by accident. It just so happened that what I wanted to do and the types of videos that I wanted to make were right at that time. And then things changed and I adapted, and that happened to be right. But every time things change, like I'm not coming in from the outside before. I'm not coming from it. I'm not going at it from the outside like I was before. I've been a YouTube creator. I'm staring at my videos all day. I have these workflows. I have these processes that make videos. And at a certain point, you lose touch with why you were doing it and who the audience is. And so I'm trying to take a step back and improve things in that regard. I want to get back to the stuff that's just fun. I want to get back to experiences rather than things. People love bikes, and my channel is about bikes, and there's a lot of bikes in there. We do flip bike, reviewing bikes. I'm showing classic bikes, but I have to get back to what we do when riding bikes. And I think that a little bit of my focus on actual bikes was because I had kids and there's just less hours in a day. And so I'm trying to find something I can shoot in the shop, trying to find something more predictable. But I love the experiences. I love the things that you can do on a bike.
Was there like a particular moment that you kind of had that realization, or a video that came out, or?
Not really. It's been something that's been brewing for a while. Every week that goes by, instead of thinking, what do I really want to do on my bike? I'm thinking, what can we complete and have by next week? What's the most interesting thing that we can possibly do within these parameters? And that's temporary. Things are I'm getting more and more freedom by the day as my kids get older. Like when you have a baby, like they can't do they have to rely on you for everything. And even with two parents, it's a lot. Then they get a little bit older and you just hand them a bottle and they feed it to themselves. You hand them a bunch of food, they eat it. You sit them down in front of each other and they entertain each other. And even if you're just getting 10 minutes to sit there and complete a thought, it adds up. It's just, you have so much more freedom. But for the past couple of years, it's definitely been a circus. I've been doing a lot of juggling.
I think a lot of people see your channel and they take it as the gold standard. And when they're making decisions for their channel, they think, what would Seth do? And I'm sure we've been in that boat too. We wonder, what might you do? Oh, let's take a look at what's done well in his channel. But today you were telling us about how you weren't having success with the thumbnail and the title on one of your last videos. So it's kind of nice to know, hey, Seth is he's like us too. He can have some, it's ups and downs. He can have struggle with some, certain videos. But then again, you tweak it one way, you turn a dial, and then boom, you're viral again. It sounds like, but
yeah, it's interesting how we were talking about thumbnails for our video, and like, okay, we could have some people looking at the feature and then somebody up in the air, and I'm like, you know what? I stopped doing action shots because they always fail. They always fall flat for some reason. And it's so much work to get that moment in time and get the perfect picture, and then nobody watches it.
Yeah. And do faces perform better than a bike?
Yeah. So if you're gonna use an object, the object has to be so dead simple and so clear. Like one of my best performing thumbnails ever was on a 10 bike hacks video, and there's just the end of a drill and a screw going into a tire, and it's just super close up. You can see exactly what it is and perform really, really well. When I bought the airbag, I did a whole video building that airbag lip and showing why we got the airbag and everything. Like, it's an awesome video, but it didn't really get a lot of views. And then the next year, like, taking out the airbag for the spring. Like, we're just going to take out the airbag and ride it. And there's just a picture of me standing on top of it, gesturing to it. And that one got triple the views. And so when you have a face and it's easy to tell what the video is about, it just works out better. When you see a bike rider up in the air doing a no-hander or something, it just blends into every other shredded or Red Bull video or whatever on YouTube. And some of those do really well, but people have already seen them. And so they think they're going to see more of the same. Or they think they're going to see somebody like trying to act cool or something.
Yeah, but it all starts with a thumbnail for you. I mean, within the first 2 minutes of entering your garage, we were talking about titles and thumbnails. Pretty classic for YouTubers. Pretty
sweet discussion between friends who haven't seen each other in a while.
Yeah.
So what's the thumbnail? Yeah.
Oh man.
But I mean, I was saying you like turn a dial and you're like viral again. It's like so many people are, if you're a YouTuber, you know that there's a list of 1 to 10. You upload a video and then your new video gets ranked compared to your last 10 videos or whatever's performing the best. Which, like you said, is depressing.
It's so depressing.
Right? You log into YouTube and YouTube either says, congrats, you're killing it. More people are watching your video than normal, you idiot. Or, hey, not such a great day. No one's watching your dumb video, you sack of shit.
Yep.
Yeah, it's depressing.
Anything lower than a 4.
Whoa.
This is what happens when I don't talk for 5 minutes. My body just breaks down. Yeah, anything lower than a 4 on that list, you're just depressed.
Anything lower than a 1, really. You don't get the confetti.
No, but the 4, at least you're like, all right, we're in the ballpark of what's been going on lately. If it's an 8 or a 9 or a 10, it's
I think I heard of some creator who like puts tape over his screen in that part so we can't read or he like blocks it for his mental health.
I've actually done something like that. So YouTube comments are one of those things where you can get a lot of good information out of them, but the comments that your people leave versus the tourists on your channel, the people who just discovered it yesterday and don't bike ride or anything, are very, very different. So when a video first posts, those are my people. I want to, even if it's criticism, I want to hear I want to hear constructive criticism. I want to hear what they think about it. But once the video's been up for a while and just random people are coming there, and they like there's this video where we pulled this bike out of the woods that had just been like wrapped around a tree. Like basically somebody took like a department store bike and they took it up somewhere where they were in way over their heads. They bent the front wheel, messed up the bike, and you could just tell they chucked it into the woods and hiked down. And so, okay, I'm going to pull this garbage out of the forest. I'm going to repair it and I'm going to ride it down. And then I'm going to take all the parts and bring it to a scrapyard and see how much money I can get for the metal. And that was the video. It did really well. But because it went viral, because it went on trending, there's all these people commenting that had no, like, that person might have crashed off the trail and gotten really hurt. And now you took his bike. He's probably going to go back for it. You could have donated that bike to somebody who needed it. It's like, dude, the bike is worth $30. It costs more to repair. So you can tell these people obviously don't understand the subject matter and they're just bashing me. So when you go into the YouTube app that's on the phone, it doesn't show the most recent comments on your most recent video. It just goes across every single video in your entire channel and it shows you the last 3 comments. You've seen it.
Yes.
And they're always terrible. And so I would just open up that app just covering the bottom half of the screen because the information's going to give me nothing beneficial. It's just going to piss me off. And so I would just open up the app with my hand covering the bottom half of the screen and get to the screen I wanted to get to.
That's funny. Well, I mean, you ever get, it's funny because like Joe Rogan, superstar, he's all over the internet. His thing is don't read the comments. Don't read the comments. Just do your own thing. Do it how you want. But I mean, I'm with you where it's like there's information to take from those comments. Like sometimes the truth is in the, the shitty comments. Like that's when obviously that's when a comment hurts the most is when there's a little bit of truth in it. You're like, oh, I know I messed that thing up, right?
The ones that hurt me the most are not the ones like people call me short all day or tell me I'm a crappy bike rider. I don't care. I'll read them. I'll laugh and read them. But the worst ones are like, hey, Seth, there's like a hiss at 6 minutes.
Oh. You guys are talking about.
I can't go back and do anything about it.
Yeah, I heard a lot of chatter about hisses today when you guys were tinkering with the mics.
Yeah.
Oh, good thing we were redoing it.
Yeah, but there is a lot of useful information. The thing is, if you're a new creator, you make the mistake of thinking that the comment section is an accurate cross-section of the population or even an accurate cross-section of your audience. But really what it is, it's a perfectly accurate cross-section of people who left comments on that YouTube video. And so you can take from that what you will, but it's most people don't leave comments. Most people just watch videos passively.
Right. Well, what did you say about Ford? Remember, we were discussing maybe polling our audience to decide what we were going to make here.
Yeah, well, Henry Ford, he'd probably be canceled today. I don't know what other things he said, but he. He was. Yeah, but he was okay. So we can't.
I believe he was anti-Semitic.
Oh, okay.
I want to say
he would hate me. Then.
Shut up! Yeah. All right. Well, there was this one thing he said that was kind of
a long time ago. It was cool back then.
He did say one thing that was really cool. He said, "If I asked my customers what they wanted, they would have said a faster horse."
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
And it's really true because people think they want something like make videos like the old videos. It's like, okay, there was magic happening then that led to those videos. If we try to recreate it now, it's not going to come out as, it's not going to look genuine, you know? And so we have to always search for something that's genuine, something that we're passionate about, something that we want to make content about. But so just because the audience says they want something doesn't mean that that's actually going to be what they want in the end. But I do think that if you look at what they want and what they say they want, you can then infer from that what it might be that they're looking for. When they say, you know, we want to see more bike riding. Okay, what they really want to see is an experience. They want to see you using bikes rather than just building them or talking about them. If they say, oh, I really like the videos when you, Alex, and Brian were out in Moab. Okay, they want to see friends having a good time together. And, you know, we can't go back to the same place and have the same experience and it come out genuine. It's too manufactured. All that stuff was a surprise when it happened. And so I think the comments are useful, but it's true. If you ask them what they want, they'll tell you what they want, but there's no guarantee that you're going to really be able to make that.
They also don't know what they want a lot of the times, I think.
Sometimes they don't.
It's almost like they just yearn for the nostalgic feeling of like something they enjoyed years ago. I feel like it's like the burden of success with any successful artist in any form, right? It's like make music like you used to.
That's the big one.
Yeah,
that is the big one.
But
yeah, we've seen a lot of comments like that on Mahalo, my dude, where we would put out like an experiential video, going to ride a new place, bunch of friends having fun. People would be like, I miss the old videos. And you're like, this is the same thing.
Yeah.
We are doing the same thing.
Right.
Yeah.
With nicer cameras.
Yeah, or we just did the kids reacting. We're trying to introduce kids to mountain biking. We thought like, oh, this is great.
I thought those were cool.
We got like 3 million views on Instagram. They're popping off. And then people say like, this is shitty. Do Whistler videos. It's like, Whistler's not even open. What the hell? But
just do Whistler videos all day.
Yeah. But the thing is like, some of the people who are discovering us right now, well, this is their, you know, old video era right now. Like in 6 years from now, they'll be saying, make videos like, you know, kids react or whatever.
Totally.
It's
you can't make everybody happy, but you can just make the best content you can at any given time. And sometimes you're in the right place at the right time with the right people, and it's good. And then other times, like you were saying, you're doing the same thing that you did, and they're saying we want the old videos. You can't get the old videos because there were different videos surrounding it. There were different videos that people were used to seeing then. It's very hard to reproduce something like that, if not impossible to reproduce something like that. Just look at the remakes of movies that you like. They're terrible every time.
For sure. Yeah, I've emailed Matt Groening 17 times to say, make the episodes like the old Simpsons, seasons, first 8 seasons, but he won't call me back.
You mentioned like bands, like that's the main thing to compare it to. I've thought about that same analogy so much because it's true. A band will have their first 2 albums will be amazing, and then they get some record deal and they go on the radio, and then it's almost like they're imitating their old music, or they're just trying to be different because of it. And now I have more sympathy for the plight that they were experiencing during that time, because they're really trying to create something good, and they're really trying to create something different. But the people that started listening to them at the beginning were there for that style. And if you can't keep producing exactly that, it upsets them.
We had that last year when we were kind of chasing YouTube views, where we would go back and watch 6-year-old videos and be like, well, what was it that we were doing? And then you try to do it and it doesn't even work because you are just imitating yourself.
And it's a time and place thing too, right?
Yeah, you're a different person and it's a different world.
It's a time and place
everything's
thing.
different.
And so much of what we create, it's like, we can't even identify where the ideas are coming from. It's just like, literally it just enters our brain. And it's, you know, it's like when we were making those old videos 6 years ago, we didn't even know where they came from. It's just, we're just following our heart, right? And so it's like we could follow our heart and keep making those things, and maybe we'll strike gold, and maybe you'll like us, but or we just listen to you, and then we end up making, you know, the faster horse.
So it's funny. Some people are very vocal about it, and they'll leave you a comment that tell them how much they hate what you're doing. And I I see myself in those people sometimes because I was that person when I was a teenager. So in like the 90s, I listened to Weezer, and their first 2 albums, Blue and Pinkerton, were amazing. And then they came out with this Green album, and it sounded completely different. And so I emailed, like, you know, I don't know who gets Weezer's emails.
Rivers
like,
at Weezer.com
in like 2000 or 2001 or whatever. I don't know who gets their emails, but they were like, dude, forget you. Like, who cares? Like, who cares what you think?
Oh, they responded?
Yeah, like whoever respond. Yeah. So
That's awesome.
whoever. I mean, back in those
They
days,
said,
especially,
dude, forget you.
I was like, what is this hash pipe crap? And then
That's funny. That was the first album I probably heard.
Yeah.
and, I'm a little bit older. But so, and he's like, dude, forget you. And now, like, looking back, so now it's like, that was over 20, that's probably 25 years ago that I sent that email when I was a kid. And they've remained relevant longer than probably any other band, like, ever. Like, they're still selling out. They're still, but like, I'm like, they're the ones laughing.
Wait, where does Island on the Sun sit in
that's
that?
on the
That's that
Green
album,
album.
the Green album.
Oh, so
yeah.
I mean, that's the best song of all time.
Oh,
Right,
say it
now.
Say it ain't so.
So when I heard
I
that
get a-
album, I was like, it doesn't sound like the old one, so
Yeah.
I hate it.
Exactly.
I get a little fuzzy feeling in my stomach. Like the nostalgia hits so hard. I'm like at a time and a place. I'm playing Roller Coaster Tycoon, sunny morning, fall morning. Oh,
But I get where they're coming from, and it's almost always coming from a kid. Because a kid
yeah.
a kid is the only one that could think in that way to care enough. You know,
I forget you're allowed to
yeah.
use the internet before the age of 18 sometimes. Like,
Yeah.
I'll read something and I'll go, who would say this? I'm like, oh, wait, an 11-year-old would.
right.
You know, like, but it's, the words all look the same, right? Unless they're completely misspelled. And then maybe you're like, this is a child.
The clue.
Also, like, it's kind of like a sign of success once again when you're getting the shitty comments. When we did the kids react thing, the video started blowing up. It was like tons of bullying comments that we had to delete. It was kids bullying other kids, and I said, like, this is actually a sign that our video is doing really well because it's getting the, what did you call it, like the traffic, the normal traffic, or the tourists?
Tourists.
The tourists.
The tourists are coming
people
through.
from outside your normal life.
and
The riffraff from out of town, or
Yeah, and they don't know us or
Yeah,
anything or
yeah.
have any compassion. They're just like saying really bad things, actually. Like,
some racist comments.
Yep.
Not great.
to like 6-year-old kids, like pretty
Not
bad
to
stuff.
be
We had to ban
racist or
certain words.
anything.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only time I'll delete comments or ban people is
Yeah.
if it's, and I have people doing it for me, but like if they're bashing somebody else that was nice enough to be in the video, because I don't think that's fair. You know, if somebody just appears in the video for a second, or
Yeah.
do you mind if I use this? Yes, okay. And now there's people bashing them. It's just not fair to them. I'm a creator. Like, that's my job to get bashed. So, you know.
So for all the people listening right now that are making YouTube videos and they're watching this because for that little nugget of information that will help them take their videos to the next level, right? Do you think there's something that people are putting their focus on that's wrong?
Oh yeah, the gear. So
Mhm.
so yeah, you guys are probably a bad example.
Yeah.
But no, there are a lot of people that they're like, I'm gonna start my YouTube channel, and so I'm researching the gear, and it's like, no, dude, you already have a cell phone. Just start making the videos.
Oh, you're
Because
talking the camera gear. Okay.
yeah. The camera
What do you
gear.
think, man?
Where I thought you were talking bike gear and reviewing gear, but
Oh.
yeah, you're talking. We are the
No,
worst.
no,
They
I'm
meant
talk-
steroids.
Yeah, I mean, you guys got a red over there, but you guys know how to use the gear, and you know, and you're excellent producers, and that's one of the things. But not only do you guys know how to use the gear, but like a lot of people have really good gear, and then they don't get the lighting right. Like you guys are not who I'm talking about. I'm talking about somebody who's never shot a video before, and they are just obsessed with how they are gonna get all the video and audio perfectly. And it's like, dude, just stand close to the camera so the audio comes through, and use your cell phone, because you're going to get everything in focus, and the files are going to be manageable, and then nobody's going to watch the video anyway. And so,
Yeah. Do you know the term fail fast?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fail fast and often, and then you will learn so much. And
Can you expand on that? Fail fast.
so your first video is not going to go you don't have to hear it from me. A million creators have said the same thing.
Okay.
Your first video is not going to work. You're going to suck at it. There's so much that you have to know. And it's going to take a bunch of failures in order for you to figure out how to do it. My first videos didn't take off. I think that now people go back and watch them, and so they have some views, but they're not that good of videos. I just had this little weird Samsung camera at the time, some APS-C sensor. I didn't have any microphones or anything, and I just voiced over, like literally talking into my computer speaker, and I just made sure there were some pillows around so there's no echo, and I just did a voiceover, and I got a bunch of shots with that, and I put it together. And I, at least at the time, I think the video is like 2 minutes and 50 seconds. So I, at least at the time, understood that every second that goes by is a chance for people to click off of it. And so I really tried to make my first videos dense. And so if you look through the oldest videos on my channel, most of them are 2-3 minutes long. Eventually I was making them like 5 minutes. And then eventually I started posting less and making the videos 10 minutes. But a lot of people who make their first video, they make like a 15-minute video. I'm like, how? It takes me 2 entire days of shooting and like a week of editing to get a video up to 15 minutes. How are you getting a video up to 15 minutes that you expect people are going to watch? So I think keep it short, keep it sweet, and don't spend a lot of time thinking about doing it. Spend the time doing it.
Yeah, I think I mean, I can speak for myself. I've been in that kind of wormhole where you think, I just need this piece of gear, and then I can shoot. So then you're ordering it, and then you're waiting for it to arrive, and then you have it, and now all of a sudden you're in the hot seat. Like, I guess I could shoot it, but maybe I should get this other piece of gear.
Yes.
And then it just keeps going and going and going.
People do the same thing with exercise. They're like, all right, I'm gonna start today, so I'm gonna sign up for the gym membership. Then I got to order some shoes. And then I got to order some sweatpants, and they just keep kicking the can down the road. And you did something, you put something in motion. And so you feel like you did your part, but you really didn't.
I feel attacked right now, and I'm taking it personally.
Your yoga pants look fantastic, though.
Thank you.
Oh.
Namaste.
So how are you, in burnout land right now? Are you?
Yeah, I'm pretty burned out.
Come on, bitch! You've been doing this for so long. It's like the ups and downs. It's like you put your heart and soul into a video, and then it falls flat, as you say. But then you tweak it. Whatever. It's mentally taxing.
Yeah, I mean, YouTube is always fun for me. Like, it's a dream job. But for most of my channel's existence, I just worked 7 days a week, and it was all I really thought about. Now I have kids. And so you never get a full night's sleep. The second you're off of work, you can't wind down and debrief what you just did. You have to go straight into parent mode. And then in the morning, you kind of have to, okay, all right, everything good. Okay, going to work. See you later. And so you don't have this mental time where you're like standing in the shower thinking about it or thinking about it after work. You don't have that defrag. And so it's mentally taxing. I'm not saying that having kids is bad. It's the most meaningful thing I've ever done, and like wouldn't take it back for anything. But it makes you more tired. That's a fact. And so I'm just really tired. But I'm also, especially lately, more optimistic than I've ever been about the future. I'm really, really looking forward to making stuff for the rest of this year.
Did your life change when you had kids? Because people are always saying, as soon as my kid was born, I had this moment. I had new purpose. And none of us on the couch have experienced that, so we don't know. We have no purpose. We
Still looking for
we don't
it.
have optimism.
Well, yeah, your life does change tremendously when you have kids. And I think if your goal is to not be anxious and have a predictable life,
yes,
and just be really content all the time, having kids is not going to be for you. It's definitely about the meaning. I don't know anybody who's had, some people have kids and they say, I wish I never had these kids. I've never actually met anybody like that. Most people would, their kids are the thing they love the most in the entire world. And I'm no exception. One big thing that has changed for me is that being just happy and content and relaxed all the time is not the only thing. It should not be your only goal. Like, I used to have this thought of like, well, if something makes you happy, then that's the way to go. You know, you should always just optimize with like happiness is the reward function for everything you do, and that should guide your behavior. But there's also meaning. Like, I mean, you had a pretty serious injury not too long ago.
Oh, ankle thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you take that back?
No.
Right. You wouldn't take
No.
it back, even though it was a terribly difficult experience.
Yeah. I mean, in the grand scheme of experiences, it was probably medium, but like it's such a, I think you need those things,
Yeah.
especially with mountain biking, because the fact that like a lot of people I remember were like, oh, you're going to still like go mountain biking and like do stuff that's that hard. And I was like, yeah, that wasn't even that hard when I crashed on. It's actually pretty easy. I just fell. Like,
Yeah. It just happens.
That's not indicative of my skill level or anything, you know? So no, I know what you're saying.
And so when you have a whole bunch of nights where you don't get to sleep the whole time, and then the next day you're struggling that much more at work, and you're doing crappier work because your mental capacity has been slashed in half, that makes you grow as a person. And I think that years later you look back and you say, I would never take that back. I would never, ever, I wouldn't even consider taking that back, you know, even when it was hard. And so it's changed my outlook on those things, and it's forced me to think about those things differently. Because it is really meaningful, and it is something that makes me really happy, but it was not easy, and it was not always pleasant. You know?
Does it make some things matter less?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's certain things like, I don't have time for that crap. You know, I care about my kids.
Yeah.
And then there are also things that were once mundane that I now appreciate more, like just being able to stand in the shower and think. Sometimes somebody is pounding on the shower door, but you know, those moments in the shower thinking I really appreciate. And also, I'll ride like the easiest trail ever with my daughter on the Mac ride, and it is the funnest ride I've ever been on in my entire life ever. And we're just going down like a cross country trail, and she's just sitting there tweeting and chirping, and it's awesome.
And you don't film her, right? You made a choice not to.
No, I don't show her face. Like when she was really little, because her face is going to completely change in the next year. But no, I'll show the back of her head or from the side or something. Like we'll choose very specific camera angles as to not to reveal her face, because my biggest, like, it happens to me all the time, and it's cool. I'll come out of the grocery store and somebody's standing next to my car, and it's at night. It's in the evening. It's at nighttime, and there's just somebody standing next to my car. I thought that was you, dude. I watch your videos, and I'm like, this is a great interaction, like of having a positive experience speaking to this person. If my wife comes outside at nighttime in a dark parking lot and there's somebody standing next to her car, that's not going to be cool at all. And so I don't want people to recognize my family, and they agree with me on that. And because I'm the person who chose to do this, this is how I make a living, but I don't want to drag everybody else into it because, you know, it's different for me. I don't worry about walking through a dark parking lot at night for many reasons. Like the main reason being that I'm a male, right? Nobody wants to prey on me because they're not going to be able to get anything out of it. But I think it's different for other members of my family, and so I don't want that to be something they have to worry about.
It's also that huge shotgun you carry slung around your back. No, I'm just kidding. Dave, did you notice there's a gun compartment in our truck that we rented? Jason pointed it out.
Really?
Gun case.
It's above the glove box. Like another.
I didn't even know
glove
about
box.
this.
Fits a gun real nice.
See, I just usually keep my gun in my pocket, but that's handy.
I thought you were just happy to see me.
It's open carry down here?
I don't know.
We'll find out.
I don't know, to be honest.
How are you like in North Carolina? Because you say you're from New York. How obviously life is a lot different now.
Yeah. So when you grow up in New York, you think New York is the center of the universe because everybody tells you it is. And you think that the rest of the world thinks that way, but actually they don't give a crap. They could care less. They all make fun of New York and other coastal cities, probably for good reason. But I like the fact that down here, people mind their own business. Like sometimes my neighbors will be shooting guns and I can't shoot my video because the audio is not going to be that great. And I just shrug and I'm like, you know what? And if I want to light a big fire tomorrow, they're not going to say anything either. And so it's just perfect. It's just the perfect relationship with your neighbors where nobody gives a crap what each other's doing and they stay out of each other's business. And that's a cultural thing here. Like you don't get into other people's business.
Quite a group that you have in your neighborhood too. You said retired brain surgeon, an engineer, a pilot, and then there's a YouTuber.
Yeah.
That's pretty sweet that this day and age, that's the same tier of success.
Love my neighbors. Love my neighbors. I borrow my neighbor's tractor. He borrows my excavator. Somebody will have a tool. Like we're always exchanging tools and working on things together. And one person will go and repair the gate. And there's just no problems. It's just all good.
Are you here in North Carolina forever? Is this your forever home that you're living in now?
I don't know if there's really a such thing as that. Maybe there's such thing as that. I don't have any plans to move away. I've planted a lot of roots here. I've owned this vacation rental here and my house, and I'm going to send my kids to school here, and I love it in Western North Carolina. I love the weather. Actually, it's crappy. Don't come here.
Say. Not great weather today.
It's terrible here. I don't mind the rain though. Like we were discussing, like, would you rather live someplace that's dry all the time or a place that mixes it up?
Mixes it up for sure.
Yeah. What about you
guys?
Matt?
Oh yeah, I mean we like having rain and sunshine. Like living in Moab or something. I don't know. I'd just be sunburnt every day, wherever.
Well, you also get the tree. Like if it's dry, you don't get the lush.
Yeah, unless you go up high. But yeah, I agree. Like I love visiting the desert, but I couldn't do it all the time. Like I need a little bit of humidity. I need some rain. I need that perfect hero dirt that you get like after the rain's dried up for a few hours, you know?
Well, we had 2 layovers on the way here. We flew to Calgary and then Atlanta. As we flew over Calgary, I don't know what you know about Calgary.
It's just all plains and nothing, and then all of a sudden mountains.
Yeah, it's from the sky looks pretty hideous. What do you guys think? Brown, yeah, doesn't look that great. But in Vancouver, like, there's a lot of people moving away to Calgary because it's a lot more affordable. So a lot of people have decided it's worth it.
Do you think the people in Calgary are like those damn Vancouver people come here ruining everything?
Oh, I'm sure.
And the Vancouver people, we call them red platers, right? It's not racist.
Red platers?
Not racist.
They have
I'll soundboard for you.
Alberta has red license plates. And so
you gotta
red
be
platers.
Clear.
And I'm backpedaling here. So they
coming
come
from
in,
a red hatter over here.
Yeah, they have much bigger roads there, bigger highways, and they come to Vancouver. They can't drive; it's all dense traffic, and so we call them red platers.
I've never gotten to peek behind your soundboard, Jason. I was looking for the not to be racist.
Oh yeah, here you go.
People
not to be racist or anything.
There you go. People ask me often the sound effects that Jason does on the podcast. Are you guys putting those in after?
No,
it's live. Jason's he's hot.
I also
hot in the keys.
Between Dave and I, we've been editing the podcast. We'll never add in a sound effect, but I also don't ever like move them around or anything. I'm like, it was live, and as it happens, it happened.
Where's your podcast, Seth? How come there's no Seth Bikeax Berm Pod? Berm Pod. Hey, that's a good one.
Okay, trademark it.
I don't want to do something that I would have to backtrack on. And so I do want to do a podcast, but I want to do it right. There needs to be it has to be video. Yeah. It has to be both a podcast and video for so many reasons. And I just don't have a place to fit it in now, but it's going to happen at some point, like for sure.
Exciting.
Berm Pod?
Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to call it. I did have one for a time called The Huck. I feel like I could come up with a better name than that. I was thinking I was going to call it The Skinny. But not yet. I'm not ready. I'm not ready for all this new gear, and it's also
just fail fast, Seth. Fail fast.
Just 4 phones.
Because it has to be video and it has to be in person. I might not in some ways, I kind of am in a good location for it because a lot of racers and people pass through here. But in another way, like, it's just really hard to get here. It's not the easiest place to get to.
What about remote pods? This is something we've gone back and forth. We've yet to do the remote pod.
Some people have success with remote pods, and they do them great and everything, but two issues with that. First of all, it's not as good as having everybody in the same room. It's just not. And the other problem is I have like a make-believe internet connection. It's not going to be strong enough to really do a reliable remote podcast without having a few hiccups along the way.
Yeah, that's true. We just uploaded episode 90 of our podcast on the Ranger Station Wi-Fi, and it only took 14 hours, but it's up.
Well, that was a big file, though, right?
It was a 35 gigabyte file.
Okay, yeah, that's normal upload time for here. Like, the way the internet connections here work, unless you are closer to Asheville and you can get fiber, is you have a cable internet connection. And so they're like 300 megabit, and then you have like 15 on the upstream.
Yeah,
You're like, okay, well, that's useless for anything people do today, you know?
For most people, that would be fine. Most people aren't uploading anything.
Yeah, exactly.
I think.
Yeah, but they're having Zoom meetings for work. And
But wouldn't
stuff
that still
like-
be download?
No, that would be an upload because you're sending your video feed. But
yeah, I guess so.
But yeah, you're right. Most people are streaming on all their televisions.
Yeah.
But it's frustrating to me because I would rather have the better upstream.
I'm just trying to sell your Ranger Station.
Yeah.
The internet's great.
Oh, everybody could be streaming.
Yeah.
You have 14 laptops just going hard in here, consuming content. But if you got to upload something, you got to wait a little bit.
How do you find the Ranger Station? You just Google it, Ranger Station, and it'll take you right to the Airbnb?
It's if you Google Berm Peak Ranger Station, it'll come up on Airbnb. And in the coming months, you're going to be able to find it in a lot of other places as well, which should be cool.
Is there plans for more Ranger Stations? Or are you
I would like to, yeah. I need to have the bandwidth to put it together and do it right. And I would like interest rates to come down before I start buying a bunch more houses. And I'm cognizant of the problems that vacation rentals pose for certain neighborhoods. Like every house in the neighborhood becomes a vacation rental. So when I bought this, we weren't at that point yet. And now I have a little bit of like guilt. Like, okay, I'm going to get another house in somebody's neighborhood. And so I'm trying to figure out a way to do it where it adds to an area or makes it better. Like either I could build a house that wasn't there before, and someday it could be a single family home that somebody could buy. It doesn't take away inventory from somebody. Or a place that's already a vacation destination. And, you know, I'm competing against hotels and stuff and not people who want to send their kids to school there.
Smart. Can we play
blind
a game?
rankings?
Yeah.
Wait, can I ask a quick question before you do the blind ranking?
Yeah.
Okay, I know you're not a hockey guy, Seth, but Dave and I were right now at the time of recording. The Canucks, Vancouver Canucks, are in the playoffs, round 1 against Nashville Predators. Now, Nashville, not to be confused with Asheville, 4.5 hour drive away. Is it worth it? Is that a good drive? Have you driven to Nashville?
Yes, I've driven to Nashville.
Okay, well.
So blind ranking?
is it a miserable drive? Because, I mean, like, you know, 4.5.
Most of the drive is actually cool. You get to go kind of over the Smokies.
Listening.
And so you get to go through some cool tunnels. There's lots of views. It's actually a pretty cool drive. But once you get past the valley and everything in Tennessee, it's a pretty mediocre drive.
Because we have done a road pod before. We've podded on the road in a car, and it's one of our most beloved podcasts.
That's
but
true.
You know,
Nashville's got lots of good food too.
I was there like, was it 2 years ago?
Yeah, what'd you do there?
I went with my parents.
Oh, that's fun. And Jason, your significant other is going to be in Nashville
in
a few
couple
days. Oh, you should just extend the trip. Seth, you can come watch for your first hockey game.
Imagine your first ice hockey game is in Nashville.
Yeah.
It's very popular there.
Yeah, apparently.
They call it Smashville.
They get snow there. We haven't gotten snow here in 3 years, something like that.
Do you watch any sports?
Mountain biking.
No.
Not really. Like, no, that doesn't count. Like, I actually watched road cycling and some mountain biking. I mean, I was gonna watch Crankworx Slopestyle.
Oh, R.I.P.
But yeah. Hey, they're doing their thing. Hopefully everybody comes out better on the other side. But
Sorry, I know I just said one more question, but what are you watching? Do you have time to watch anything? Are you like sitting down with the wife and watching a TV show, Netflix, movies?
No,
Nothing.
No, nothing.
No?
Nothing.
Watching the kids.
I do. Yeah, we're just watching the kids. And actually, what I started doing is just putting my phone like on my nightstand and just going to the opposite end of the house. Like there's so many times over the last few months where I'm just like, I can't remember the last time I looked at my phone. Like I have to go find it. I don't know where it is. I'm always looking for my phone because now I'm trying to leave it places. And I find that leaving your phone someplace is much different from leaving it in your pocket and pledging not to check it. Because you could, and it's always there, and you get the phantom buzzes and stuff, and it's very freeing to just put your phone away. And so I try to keep my face out of media as much as possible and try to live life. And the media that I do consume is usually podcasts, actually, because I get into bed as early as I can. And I can just lay back and listen to something. Or if I'm on my way someplace in my car, I feel like I'm getting something out of it. I can get information from the podcast.
What kind of podcast?
So what's your favorite episode of this one?
Yeah.
Top or top 10, whatever you're more comfortable with.
I'm in danger.
I'm totally kidding.
Yeah, but I think that
He was going to say Brandon Semenuk. Trick question. He's never been on the pod yet.
Yeah, I think that podcasts as a medium are one of the best things that come out of media over the last 20 years. They've actually been around longer than that, but not in the same form they are now. I feel like your grandma knows what a podcast is now. It's not just a radio show. There's always been radio shows. Now we call them podcasts. And actually, podcasts first came out. There was do you know why it's called the podcast?
Because it was through the iPods.
Yes. So it's a radio show that you can download. So you would download it to iTunes, which used to be a really useful application for computers. Now it's, I don't know what it is.
It's called music.
It's just called music, and it just got worse and worse. But
Yes.
so Apple had this thing called iTunes, and you couldn't download music onto it. You had to take your CDs and upload them. They would rip into iTunes, and then you would have all your AAC files or MP3 files, and you had to own a physical copy for that to be legal, and then put them on your iPod. And so one of the first things that you could download on iTunes was a podcast. So people put out these radio shows, and then you could download it and then listen to it on your iPod on the way to work. Now we consume them very differently. Some of them are live. There's a video component, but it's a really, really good form of media that I think is going to be here to stay for a long time.
On our kids' react videos on Instagram, one of the comments was, "What kind of podcast is this?" And I thought, do kids just think everything's a podcast now? Like, what the?
Do you guys remember? Like, I would spend 2 hours trying to leave the house because I wanted a good playlist, or I'd burn a CD before leaving. And now it's just there.
Well, I ripped plenty of CDs to iTunes, and on the burner that I had in the old computer in my home, if you walk too hard on the floor, it would make skips. So I have songs still on my phone that I know exactly where the skips are because it's just ingrained in me. Island in the Sun. Island in the Sun? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, man.
Yeah. My favorite Weezer song. The best song of all time. Talking. Anyways, Jason?
Blind rankings?
Sorry.
Okay. Let's get into it. Have you ever heard of blind rankings?
No.
So Stevie Wonder, Ray Charles,
Jesus
or
Christ.
Oh, sorry, different. Helen Keller. Go.
We have a list of 5 bike hacks.
Okay.
That we're going to ask you to rank in order from 1 to 5, 1 being the best, 5 being the worst.
Okay.
You won't know which is coming next.
Okay.
That's the blind component. So we're going to do ranking bike hacks with the bike hack master himself.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Option 1, baby oil instead of mineral oil.
It's probably 5.
It didn't work?
Oh no, it worked great, but it's just there's so real mineral oil is just so cheap. Why would you use baby oil? It's got fragrance in it for no reason. I was just trying to prove a point with that one.
There's still mineral oil in that brake?
There's
Or
still
baby?
mineral oil in those Shimano brakes, and they
Sorry,
still
baby
work. There's still baby oil in the Shimano brakes, and they still work perfectly fine. I'll go up there and check them. Like, I don't ride my fat bike, like, almost ever. But I'll go and check the brakes, and they are pristine
That's insane.
with the baby oil.
Number 2, suspension fork pizza cutter.
That one's up there. I would say 3.
Welding the end of a shifter cable.
I would say 4. It's not a practical hack, but it is pretty sweet.
All right, you only got 1 and 2 left.
Yeah.
Risky.
So hopefully they're not terrible.
Shoelace master link removal.
I think that's 1.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's the best.
That seems pretty useful.
That seems very useful.
Have you ever tried to get... People tell me all the time, oh, I just get a master link off with my fingers. I'm like,
Mm-mm.
what kind of... Yeah, maybe an 8-speed master link or something. You will break your fingers off.
Yeah.
But you can actually get it off with a shoestring.
Yeah, no, I remember watching that video
Yeah.
years ago now, but I was like, this is genius. Okay, so that means your number 2 spot is a cardboard tailgate pad.
Yeah, in a pinch, that's probably good. I don't know if it's 2, but I mean, it's against disc brake pizza cutter, so.
Yeah. Are there any other notable hacks? Like, I mean, there's so many hack videos now. Probably over.
There's so many of them, and I haven't shot one recently. Like, I'll only do it if I have a list of really good hacks.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't have like a mental list of all the hacks.
What's the one that just keeps coming back? People keep
Exactly.
mentioning it to you. Is there one that stands out?
Yeah, the shoelace master link one. I don't know where I heard of that from. That's an old trick. Like, that's an old trick. I forgot where I heard it from. I think I said as much in the video or put in the description. Like, I don't know where this is from or link to something, but that one keeps coming back. And I even saw somebody say that it doesn't work. And it does work. Definitely works.
I mean, you must get that comment all the time, though. This didn't work.
Yeah,
like, well,
people
how did you do it? What did you use?
It didn't work, and it's like, all right, well, you did it wrong, or you you must have done it wrong. It's pulling the thing together. That's how they engage. Or maybe it wasn't the master link. Maybe you were trying to take apart any old link like that. That wouldn't work. That wouldn't work.
That's true.
What other ones come back? I'm trying to. So oddly enough, in one of the first hacks videos, one of the earliest ones, I put the bike next to a curb and then leaned the bike up against the curb with the pedal. And I have literally brought new bicycle riders out and told it like, oh, just lean it up against the curb. And it took them like 7 tries to do it because the crank's in the wrong direction. It ratchets backwards. And I'm like, look, move the crank so that it's trying to pedal the bike forwards. And they're like, oh, whoa, that's so cool. And I've had so many people tell me that that's like the best trick ever.
Reminds me of your video, How to Get on a Bike.
Yes.
I thought, this is great. It made me realize like, you can make a video about anything. I mean, I take every little thing for granted, because having ridden a bike all my life, like something as simple as getting on a bike actually could take a bit of a tutorial.
So it's funny, whenever I do, and I've done a lot of videos that are kind of like that, people will say, Seth's running out of ideas.
Yeah.
That's always the one that comes in. And I've done so many great videos after that one. But I was thinking about it for a long time. I'm like, I really got to make the how to get on a bike video because it's the, and not everybody was stoked about
Well,
that.
it's valuable to someone, right?
To someone, yeah.
Sometimes that's how I feel. I mean, if like there's a handful of people that are really going to love it, it might change their life. I want to make it, right? It's like the kids react once again.
Or it's like when we did our how to pump a tire and it was like 7 minutes long.
Okay. Well, that was an April Fool's joke that people are still commenting on, raging about. It was
so
total
mad.
rage bait. It was how to pump a tire and we never got to the point.
Oh, man.
It was just There was sponsors.
It was just
and
rage bait.
It was complete rage bait.
It was sponsored by bread, and the offer code was bready or not, here I crumb.
And it was Jason narrating it, and he just never got to the point.
Okay, How to Get on a Bike has 1 million views.
Well, then I guess in the long run, I'm the one laughing.
That's a win.
It's your Weezer.
Yeah. Yeah. One that I posted recently that people were not very stoked about was how the media takes photos of mountain bikes. So because
we got some flack about, anyways, go ahead.
Yeah, because it's like they're like, I think one of the top comments is like, Seth's running out of ideas now. And it's like, I've been thinking about that for a while because I know that I don't take pictures of bikes properly. Like I just kind of set them up. And sometimes I'll always put the drive side out, but that's about the only thing that I'll do consistently. And if you look at any magazine or media outlet, they have an orthodoxy when it comes to taking pictures of bikes. And so I thought it would be interesting to do that video because nobody's ever really talked about it. And yeah, people hated it. They just wanted to see something other than that.
To bring up Kids React once again, one of the comments we got was, "Oh, great, more videos for clicks." And I'm like, well, what the hell are we doing? Of course we want you to click our video. Like, is there a meaning to that? I'm not understanding.
Well, they just think it's a shameless, click grab.
I feel like we wouldn't do it and spend the time unless we thought there was some value there. Because I feel like sometimes we're making videos for us and not necessarily others.
To go back on hating on the people that watch our videos, I think people don't like to know when they're being baited. Like, I think there's like an art to it. It's like when you're getting an advertisement on YouTube or whatever. You don't like being advertised to, but sometimes you're subtly advertised in the real world and you don't know, and you end up buying the products. That's how they get you.
Hoping to become a master one day.
Of course.
Yes. Is that why you're smiling at me? We both had the masturbate joke. Okay. All right.
The masturbate.
I always like to know when I'm being baited personally, but I'd let you finish your thought.
All right. One more. Oh man, there's so much to talk about. We could go on for 19 hours. How do you feel about long podcasts? Are you listening to like a 3-hour podcasts?
Yeah, sometimes if it's a really interesting one, I will just listen to it in multiple sessions until I get through it.
Same.
I love
So it
them.
has to be interesting. Fuck.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, if they made it past the first 4 minutes,
It's true.
Oh wait, I got to promote the shirt. If you're a chother, if you're a fan of the pod, we have feeding off each other shirts on mahalomydude.com, but we have too many XLs. So, oh no, where's the paper? We have a special offer for the.
Wasn't it?
I don't know where it is.
Wasn't it big boned or
yeah,
something?
Oh yeah, big boned. Big boned. If you're big boned and you need an XL feeding off each other shirt to rep the chuthers out there, go to mahalomydude.com, use code BIGBONED and get 20% off your feeding off each other shirt.
And now back to the pod.
That was a good line, guys.
That was great.
I wanted to ask, you started as Seth Bike Hacks, and then you changed the channel to Berm Peak, and now you have Berm Peak Express. Like, how did that affect the channel? Was it a scary move to?
It was scary, and it might not have been that smart of a move in hindsight. I think having my name attached to it made it more personal, but I just always hated the name Seth's Bike Hacks. I just hated it.
Really?
Yeah, for a variety of reasons. When I first made the channel, I was just going to do bike hacks. I was going to do like these little hacks and stuff, and so I called it the channel Bike Hacks. I realized like that domain name's not available. And so I made it Seth's Bike Hacks. And so now it's Seth's Bike Hacks. Like, the merchandise never really sold because who's going to wear a shirt that says Seth's Bike Hacks? It just looks weird. I even had people come up to me that after I changed the name to Berm Peak, and they're like, yeah, whenever I saw it come up like Seth's Bike Hacks, I'm like, I don't want to click that. And then eventually I watched it and I realized it was good and, kept watching. But it's just not a cool name.
It almost sounds clickbaity to our point. Like it's it's not to say anything
no,
bad
but
about
it's true, and it wouldn't have aged well. And so when I just like the name Berm Peak because it's so open ended. It doesn't pigeonhole me into anything because people would be like, "Where are the bike hacks? You haven't done a bike hacks video in 6 months," and I'm like, dude, how many ways can I hide zip ties? And, like, like I'm really reaching to come up with these. Like, there's only like 150 good ones. And then I'm out of, no matter how hard I think, I'm out of them. And so now whenever I think of a bike hack, I'm getting off topic a little bit, but now whenever I think about it, I'll put it down on a list, and it takes forever to get up to 10 because they have to be good to make the list. And so I didn't want to be pigeonholed into making bike hacks. And I wanted something that was a little bit more open-ended, a little bit more marketable, and something that didn't necessarily have my name in it. But in hindsight, it probably wasn't so bad. I probably could have changed it to something that was more similar, or I don't know. You learn things along the way. I think now it was so long ago it doesn't matter. But at the time, there was definitely a shock.
Well, you also had the logo, which I don't know if you use anymore, which was your face.
Yes, it was a little scriggly face that looked like me.
Yeah, I don't know the story behind that, but it makes me wonder, like, did people think you were a grumpy guy because it was a grumpy picture of your face, and that was your, I had the stickers all over. And
so in the earliest videos, the earliest videos, I would curse. I was kind of much more sarcastic and aggressive and stuff, and then I realized that not everybody really likes that. And in real life, if you're around me, you know that I'm basically the same person I am on camera, but the language is a little bit looser. And especially moving to different parts of the country and traveling to different parts of the country, I realized that people don't all talk the way that people do in New York. In New York, people you'll order a slice of pizza and they're like, "Hey, here's your fucking pizza." It's just part of the vernacular.
You'll cross the street and you'll be like, "I'm walking here."
Yeah.
You just make that up?
Yeah, I just made that up.
Oh shit! Here we go again.
and so I toned it down and I made it way more family friendly. And when I did that, I realized I actually really like working clean. I can make little comments and make jokes that are a little bit more under the radar, and people get it and appreciate it. And those people are with me for life because they got the joke. But I think that working clean is harder and it's more rewarding because it reaches more people. And I've had people say to me, like, especially when I meet subscribers in real life, "Thanks for making content that I can show my kids. Yeah. Thanks for making stuff that we can all watch as a family." And that's been really rewarding.
Yeah, we've experienced that too. Like parents saying, "Oh, we're so glad we can, watch it as a family around the couch." But then, every once in a while, we want to make a pod and swear on it, and it's like we really are.
The pod's not for this isn't a kids platform really, anyways.
Well, I'm sure there's some kids watching, but yeah.
Yeah. It's got the explicit rating on it.
It's funny because we did the creators react to mean comments, and, and you participated.
Thank you.
Yeah, which was awesome. And
thanks for including me.
It seemed like you hated it, but go ahead.
I did.
I
edited that, and I was like, man, he's going through it now.
Oh, we felt bad.
I was having a rough week in the first place, and I was you caught me on a bad week.
Oh my God.
But it was actually great.
We're sorry.
I felt
the tone
bad.
worked. No, I liked it a lot.
And the thing is, you mean so much to people out there, and the channel is like near and dear to so many people's heart that the comments were by far the meanest on your channel.
Yeah,
like, we had
to dig.
You had to dig?
Yeah,
really?
Okay. They take it even more personally.
Yeah.
So one of the comments, though, the reason I segued was someone said, "Oh, I miss when Seth used to swear shit's mid as fuck now."
but you misread it and you said shit's mild as fuck.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because the kids say mid, meaning medium, not that great.
Yeah.
And Dave, master of AI, he wanted to clone your voice so it said mid, and we're gonna correct you.
I actually did. I think I tried.
You tried?
It sounded bad.
Are you using AI at all in your content creation?
So we have a Spanish channel, and it's growing. So we have a Spanish channel, and it's my voice. Like, we have to painstakingly go through and make sure that all of the captions are perfect. And then it gets translated to Spanish. That gets checked over. And then my voice reads it in Spanish. And we haven't got them all perfect, but some of them, we've gotten feedback from Spanish speaking people that are like, this is really good.
Is this the one where it changes your mouth? so that it looks
no,
like
my voice, it's just an overdub. But the crazy part is, because I mean, when you're working with waveforms, like it actually changes the voice over the same song. So the waveform, so if you're playing music, because I'm not going back to the original file and removing the voice and adding in the Spanish. So it's intelligently figuring out how to put the Spanish voice into that waveform and have all the beats and instruments and things in the song sound like they were behind a Spanish voice. Like, some people are like, well, why is that challenging? But I think you guys understand why.
Insane.
That's insane technology.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Because it's all just clustered together. So it's
just
doing
a
a lot
waveform.
of it's doing a lot of work to parse those out.
It's crazy. Yeah, it can only be done through artificial intelligence.
Is it your voice speaking Spanish?
It is
too?
it is my voice speaking Spanish.
That's
People
cool.
think that I'm going and recording in a booth and doing it, but it's artificial intelligence.
But didn't Mr. Beast used to have like he had a channel for every language, and then now if you go to like Mr. Beast Russian, or any language, it says this no longer exists. Just go to Mr. Beast and go to the settings button and click the language you want.
Yeah, but he's beta testing something we're not gonna have for like 3 years. Yeah.
When are we gonna get the A/B testing? Do you
I
have
have it.
that? How do we get in contact with YouTube? You got to CC us on an email or something.
You cannot get in contact with YouTube. I can't even get in contact.
We
with
used
YouTube.
to. We used to have a person.
We had a guy.
I still can't talk to anybody at YouTube. I tried to recently for something, and they were like, yeah, I mean, no. You can't.
I think I thought you put us in touch with someone a few years ago, but then I can't remember what.
Probably a few years ago.
Okay, all right.
But yeah, times have changed.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just can't. But the A/B testing of thumbnails is amazing. So you drop in 3 thumbnails, and it runs all 3 concurrently, and randomly selects different people that are going to see each thumbnail, and then it's not based on who clicks it the most. It's based on how much watch time is attributed to each thumbnail, which is genius. That makes total sense. And because if somebody clicks it and they click off the video, that wasn't a click that you wanted. You want somebody who actually is interested in the content and is going to watch it. So then it automatically, after some amount of hours, chooses the thumbnail that did the best. So then once that thumbnail's up, you can run another A/B test. You can throw in another one, and it'll run your existing thumbnail and that one. And I've optimized thumbnails to the point where, like, it's performed way better than the original one. And it's actually not rocket science. Like, a lot of what it is you want to make sure that the thumbnail and the title accurately represent what's in the video, because you want the people that do click it to get what you promised them. And so that's a great incentive structure, if you ask me.
I've seen someone say that the first clip or the first 3 clips have to represent almost exactly what the thumbnail looks like. Do you follow that rule?
It has to unmistakably show what the audience is expecting, because you've clicked a video before, I'm sure, where you get like 10 seconds into it and you're like, this guy's going to waste my time, and you're just done at that point. So I feel like you have to prove to them in the first few seconds that you are not going to waste their time, that you respect their time deeply, that you're competing for all these other videos in the margin, and you're going to give them what you promised.
Yeah.
You have to have a genuine respect for their time.
Maybe we should redo that intro today. No, I'm just kidding. Print that.
Print it, double it, triple it, actually. Let's triple it.
So what's the future hold? You have big plans for, I don't know. I mean, there's so many things that you do.
Berm
Palace. Yeah, we haven't even talked about Berm Park, which we're probably going to visit tomorrow.
Yeah.
You have a bike park.
Yeah. I mean, it belongs to the town of Canton. And I think there were a few, I mean, where do we start? There's so much to talk about with Berm Park, but to summarize to anybody who doesn't know what Berm Park is, it is a free public bike park. And by bike park, I mean, you pedal up to the top, you can choose a trail, you have a bunch of jumps, and then when you get to the bottom, everybody pedals back up the same road. It's a pedal up bike park, and all the trails are really short. It's sessionable, and Berm Park is within a bigger park called Chestnut Mountain. That's hundreds of acres. And there are awesome trails up there too. You can get in a real day of riding at Chestnut Mountain. You could stay there all day, and it's awesome. Learned a lot when building Berm Park. Learned a lot in terms of fundraising, in terms of working with government, working with trail builders, working with promoting it and everything. And I felt like it was something that I really had to do because, well, I wanted to do it, but also I've been preaching that everybody should build bike parks. If you think about what a bike park costs, like, I've been to bike parks where they've had the story of the bike park written up on some kind of a plaque, and it'll cost $250,000, $300,000 to build. Berm Park was kind of similar to that. And there are a lot of cars that cost more than that. And so now so let's say you're a complete sociopath and you do every single thing in your life by just straight game theory. I want to make the argument that you're better off building a bike park than buying a Lamborghini. Because if you're trying to impress people and you name the park after you, then that's more impressive that there's a park named after you, right? Than you got approved for 3% APR in a Lamborghini or something.
Should have called it Seth's Bike Park.
Yeah. And so I've been saying everybody should build bike parks. We should build more bike parks. And so I said, all right, I have to do it or else I'm just talking. But I still argue that even if you have the worst motivations ever, you're just an evil, terrible human being, you should still build a bike park for your own selfish interests because it's more impressive than whatever else you were going to spend the money on.
Can't wait for that James Bond villain.
Super impressive. So is it more Berm Parks in the future? Is it more ranger stations, videos? How do you?
I always like to do different things. I am a really business positive person. Since I was really little, I was intrigued by the prospect of starting your own business, right? And the YouTube channel is a business. What I had before that, the web development, that was a business. The ranger station's a business. And Berm Park's not a business, but it's a big project. And I want to start more businesses. I want to do more things that make money and create jobs for people and just have because everybody fantasizes about what they would do if they could make a product or what they would do if they could make a park. And all through growing up, having kind of normal jobs and stuff, there were always people that worked at wherever I was working that would just bash the boss. Just when he wasn't around, oh, he's doing this and he's screwing everything up and this is inefficient and he should have somebody else, in accounting, or he should have somebody else managing back here. It's like, all right, so why don't you go do it? And I've always tried to not criticize how people run their businesses and just try to do it myself and try to do it my best. And it's really hard and you learn a lot and you can create something really cool. I think we've created something pretty cool with this vacation rental, but creating a vacation rental is not exactly rocket science. You get a house, you fix it up, and you try to take guest feedback to make it better and better. But I would like to, when I have the time, to move on to bigger, better organizations and products and services that either nobody's ever seen before, or that improve on something, or that create an interesting experience for people.
Would you ever start a bike company
that actually produces bikes? No.
Or parts?
Maybe. So I've thought about this a lot, and I've talked about this to multiple parties, like making a biker or partnering on bike projects and stuff. And the main reason why I don't think I would ever do an actual bike is I don't think I could produce a better bike than somebody else could. And so it would be a cash grab. I would just be like, you get this bike because I'm the one that made it, or get this bike because it's my name on it. There are I'm going to be able to come up with better bike geometry than hundreds of engineers in the industry that have done it, that have seen through creating 20 bikes already. And that put down more miles than me and geek out on no way. And I'm going to have better supplier relationships or something than a bike company that's existed for 20 or 30 years. Like, I'm just going to create something more expensive that's not as good. And then people are going to buy it anyway because I'm promoting it. And that's not something I would want to do.
When it comes to business, are you doing all your own deals when it comes to like sponsorships and, you know, the bikes you ride, the gear you use?
So people think that I have more sponsorships going on than I actually do. I actually have none whatsoever. The last sponsored anything I did was with Bentonville. I'll go out there maybe once a year. It's a place I really like to go. And so they'll sponsor my trip there and make it so I have a place to stay and things to do. And I'll make videos. And I can basically make whatever videos I want when I'm there. In terms of products and all that stuff, I have no sponsors whatsoever. I can ride whatever I want. I can use whatever products I want. I can say whatever I want about all of them. I used to have a bike sponsor, but it's been a couple of years now that I haven't. Kind of at the early bike apocalypse, I lost that. And I said, I kind of like this, you know? Not that it held me back all that much, but it's just, I have so many different types of bikes now, and I can just mix it up and not worry about whether I'm stepping on anybody's toes. And so part of the business thing is that I do have to look out for my future and my income, and the better the channel does financially, the more freedom I have. But I don't want to take away my freedom by doing sponsorship. So I'd rather make products that are mine and sell those products so that I can make whatever I want. It's something I honestly 100% believe in. And then I get to build a business too. And so that's in the future. I don't know how soon. I don't know exactly what it's going to be. It has to be the right thing.
Do you have any tips for how to convince people to bring you out to an event? Because we've faced a lot of no's recently. Hey, we'd love to come out there and do our thing, and maybe it's just a time and place. Maybe we should just try for next year. How do you approach asking for things? Obviously, I mean, you're Seth, so you got that going for you.
So a lot of the time, people approach me, and I say no to way more stuff than I say yes to. But what I've found is that when you're working with any company, because especially long ago, I did a lot more sponsorship and stuff, and legal experts are going to cringe at this, but I write my own contracts and I do everything myself.
They're not listening. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Just kids.
What I have found is that when you're working with any sort of company or organization, the person that you're talking to is really, that's going to be the most important consideration. If it's a small outfit and you're talking to the owner, then most of the time they're not going to have enough money to make anything happen anyway. And so you can just talk to them and be honest and get on the phone and work something out. And if they have the money to bring out an entire film crew and fly you guys out there and make it so you're not actually losing money to do it, great. But most of the time when you're talking to somebody that has that type of resources, it's going to be a big company that has a marketing manager. And a marketing manager is clocking in and out like everybody else. And if you can do their job for them, it makes it way more likely that you're going to get the deal. Because if you come to them with a service agreement and a contract and you lay out the minimum amount of views that they're going to be guaranteed to get or you don't get paid and everything, they look at it and they're like, wait, so I can just hand this to my boss and they sign it and then I can clock out and go fishing or bike riding or something? And then we can do it again. And then every deal that I make with this person is going to be that easy. That's what you want to do. You want to figure out what's going to be the most time consuming for them and do it for them. Because if you are talking to a company and trying to convince them to come out there, more likely than not, they're going to have to convince somebody else. And that's all this paperwork and proposals and projections and things that they're going to need to do. Meanwhile, you know those numbers off the top of your head. And so just lay it out and give it to them. And what I like to do is combine the proposal and the service agreement into one document. So You send them this proposal, they kind of read through it, outlines everything they're getting, when you expect to get paid, what they're not getting, what you're willing to, whether or not they're, I'll just put, look, you can't make any revisions to this. Whatever I make is gonna be it, but I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna be vulgar or whatever. You lay all that out, and then there's a signatures page at the bottom. And they're like, oh, bunch of legalese and then a signature page. And they're like, my job is done. I can go home. I can just hand this in. And this beautiful work has already been done. That's how you get deals.
Now, what about when you're approached? And a lot of small creators deal with this. Hey, I have a powder. We want you to insert an ad into your video. Do you have a rate card? Or they say, we have $500, and people start talking about, they start asking their friend, like, what do I charge? And the friend says, oh, I think I read one time it's CPM times this, times that. Oh, here's a spreadsheet I downloaded one time, and they're filling out numbers based on their, CPMs. Is that right? CPMs?
Mm-hmm.
What the hell does that stand for again?
So
I don't even know.
Like cost per
It's a
milli.
cost
Okay.
per, it's a cost per mil. So as a creator, you're going to get paid by RPM. That's going to be the amount of
RPM. I think that's what I was looking for.
As a creator, you're going to get paid through RPM. That's the amount of revenue that you're going to get per click. But an advertiser's going by CPM. That's the cost per million impressions. And so what I like to do is I like to think about the type of video I'm going to make, look at older videos that I've done, and say, I can guarantee that within, let's say, 3 months of this video posting, they're going to get 300,000 views. That's a safe number, right? So I get that safe number. And then I think, what is an appropriate CPM for that? So you can figure that out by, first of all, looking at other CPMs. So like, for example, print. Sometimes with print, it's like $50 to $100 per 1,000 clicks. You can look at your CPMs in YouTube and see what advertisers have paid. On direct advertising, where your advertisement is going to be baked into a YouTube video, the CPM is going to be higher. I would go for like $40 to $60 at an absolute minimum. So you try to underpromise and overdeliver when it comes to the actual amount of impressions they're going to get. And then you work in that CPM, and then that's your price. And if they are used to paying for actual advertising, they're going to think it's reasonable.
Right. We've done some deals where there's been a, what is it called? Like a payback or something. We didn't meet the views that we promised.
Mm-hmm.
So, there was discussion of, well, you got to make a fourth video for, we
Make good.
Yeah.
Make good. That's it. We promised 3 videos. Well, you're going to have to do a fourth one, to make good. But in this scenario where we didn't meet the views, our videos were so well made, so well produced. And I think they recognized that they didn't want to ask for a fourth video.
Yeah.
And they also said, can you send us the video? We want to put it on our website and put it as a banner. It looks so good. But in that, like, we got kind of
the ad read itself.
The ad read itself. Yeah. But yeah, like in that scenario, it just seems hard to nerve wracking to promise I'm going to get this view. And then everybody thinks they're going to get 1 million views on their video, or, it's going to do well. And then you put it out and then it falls flat. And now you know that you have the pressure of someone who's paying you on your shoulders.
I have never not met because I always give such a safe guess.
Okay.
I'm probably cheating myself out of revenue, but I want to deliver on it. And I want them to feel like it's such a great deal in the end that I can do whatever I want in the video and they're not even going to dare try to tell me to do it differently. And I tell them from the start, like, look, you guys can't really tell me what to make content about. Like, if we're going to do this, you have to sort of be bought in at this point where you want to be associated with it. And I also don't like to make these huge shout outs where it's a huge portion of the video. I like to make a very, I like to be genuine. So by under promising and over delivering, I insulate myself from any of that sort of weird, uncomfortable stuff on the back end. They're just happy with it. Again, if you're trying to get as much revenue as you possibly can, then you can take a riskier approach where you sort of up your promises. But at that point, you have to put in the contract what happens if you don't meet your numbers. So you could either be, we're going to, after you leave your deposit, the rest of the money you pay is going to be prorated based on the views, right? It's going to be proportional to the amount of views over a certain amount of time, right? Because what does it mean, 300,000 views? In 2 years from now, it could have 1 million. And so you have to make sure you put in that time period. As you know, some content slow burns and some of it pops off. And then you could also say, I'll make every effort to do this, but if it doesn't meet the views, then that's it.
Well, I know we did a deal one time where promised a certain amount of time, and we wanted to kind of make that prorated deal. Well, what if it gets 1 million views over 6 months? But they said, well, we only care for 2 months. Well, 2 months or 30 days or something.
I don't know what this deal is.
I don't know. I think, anyways, I think it's like almost every deal. It seems like it's the same. They're always like the same. And
yeah, it's like ad
with
agencies.
our agencies. Yeah.
They kind of all operate.
And they only care about the first 30 days because they say,
Yeah.
well, if a video is older than 30 days, the people are no longer interested in the link that you're promoting for us. They don't think it's relevant anymore. But I thought, well, what the heck? How does that make sense? If sometimes I'm watching a video, I enjoy it. I don't even pay attention to when it was posted. I enjoyed it, and maybe I like the ad too. I want to click the ad. What we ended up doing was now retroactively just using YouTube editor to chop out the ad completely, because I just thought, well, this is just free advertising for them at this point.
Totally.
We just got rid of them.
And if I ever do, hopefully it doesn't come to this, but if I ever do ads again, I would really like it that you change the song when the ad's coming in, and make it so you can cut it out.
Yeah.
It'll be seamless.
Yeah, fortunately, we've done that with most of ours.
Yeah, no, that's smart.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Future content creators.
Business.
Got in the weeds.
Yeah, deep in the weeds. But we're with the man himself. So, one in North Carolina.
Should we play another game?
Please.
Okay. Seth, we have another game.
All right.
It's called This or That, and this is the rules.
It's that time again, folks. Time to play This or That, the game where you choose between two radically different options. Either this or that. Are you ready?
Oh, yeah.
And this is what we put all of our time into instead of the intro. Hopefully it's good.
I'm afraid.
Okay. This is the volume of the theme music, I guess. Question 1, no arms or no legs?
Definitely no legs.
Be 4 feet tall or 8 feet tall?
Four feet tall.
Pee a marble or poop a baseball?
I had a lot of time on this.
Wait, what was the first one?
Pee a marble or poop a baseball?
Poop a baseball. Yeah.
Oh, so nonchalant.
Sunset or sunrise?
Sunrise.
Fixing up old bikes or fixing up trail features?
Fixing up. I'd rather build trail features. When they start rotting away, fixing them up is not very fun.
That's when we come and
fixing
ride
up
them all.
old bikes.
Skinnies or teeter-totters?
Skinnies.
New York or North Carolina?
North Carolina.
Substack or Patreon?
Substack.
Thumbnails or titles?
Thumbnails.
Building or filming?
Building.
Coffee or beer?
Coffee.
Puppies or babies?
Babies.
The gator or the excavator?
The gator.
Cry every time you poop or poop every time you cry?
That's
Thank
a good
God.
one.
We put a lot of time into this, Seth. We didn't travel all this way.
Out of just pure pragmatism, crying every time I poop.
PRD.
RC cars or 3D printing?
3D printing.
Wow.
Wow. Dick-sized nipples or nipple-sized dick?
Dick-sized nipples.
Keep man's an animal. Yes.
Video schedule or upload whenever?
As of late, video schedule.
Iced Americanos or tacos?
Tacos.
Wow.
Dirt jumper or full suspension?
If I could only choose one,
Mm-hmm.
oh, full suspension.
Black locust or white oak?
It's a type of wood, Dave. The tree.
White oak,
White oak.
when available, yeah.
He was pointing out the black locust on his backyard trails today.
Yeah.
He said George Washington, he made fence posts out of black locusts that's still standing today.
What about his teeth?
Those are black locust also.
Yeah.
Were they?
I don't know, I just made that all up.
Okay. Wait, really? Oh,
He
I
had
take it back.
wooden teeth.
I know.
Oh, okay.
Goddamn, I'm a fool.
Well, and finally, Berm Peak or Berm Park?
Berm Park is much better.
Good game, everybody.
Good
Good
game.
pod. Good pod. How long was the pod?
1 hour 48.
That's it.
Wow.
Oh,
Like 5
man.
That's
minutes.
it.
Very, very rich with
Ton of fun.
information.
Yeah.
Yeah, a ton of fun.
It's good to talk.
It is.
Let's make sure the outro is just as bad as the intro. Just have it all fizzle
just
now.
fizzle.
No, just kidding. This is the best pod in the game. Feeding off each other. The number one feeding off each other podcast in the world. Believe it or not, Seth.
Really?
Yeah, next to Future Pod. Yeah, really.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, but soon to be overtaken by Berm Pod. Berm Pod. Go ahead, take the name if you want it.
Berm Pod.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to chew on that for a little bit.
All right. He
The
loves
best
it.
no I've ever heard.
He loves it. Yeah, that's it. Thanks, man. Thank you so much for your time and having us here.
Thank
And,
you guys for having me.
The trip
yeah.
has only just begun, so
Yeah, we've
Yeah.
already gotten rained out.
yeah. But tomorrow we're gonna get to Berm Park and
Yep.
you know,
Make
we're
a
gonna
video.
film our
Nice.
silent biking there. And what would you recommend we film? Clickbait.
So definitely clickbait. You might want to
The
check
trail.
on
The trail.
The trail.
You might want to check to see if it's open tomorrow.
Oh no.
Because it's north facing, and so if it gets rained on a lot, it takes a long time to dry up unless it's summer, and so they just close it. It's not ideal,
God.
Okay.
but limited resources trying to keep a free park open. But the Berm Park is so small, you could honestly ride everything there. You could ride
But
everything there, and
Filming it though. You
Fil-
know the way
film-
we film.
yeah.
Slow.
I mean, clickbait is going to be really interesting. There's 2 wall rides, one on each side. So if you wall ride left or right, you're going to get 2 of them. There's a nice cannon. There's an up box. So a on-off that's uphill.
Is there
Kinda
an
like
is there an up dog?
an up dog?
Yeah, an up dog.
What's an up dog?
Oh, so close. What's up, dog? What's up, dog?
Oh, okay.
It's been an hour and 51 minutes.
I tried to assist that.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Clickbait's a lot of fun, and it's a lot of bang for your buck. And at the end, it splits off into 2 trails. So it splits off into the rest of the clickbait, where you got a bunch of steezy little jumps. And then if you go to the right, then you have a bunch of like wall rides and cannons and stuff. It's super cool. So,
Awesome.
but thanks for coming here, guys.
Thank you.
Really.
Yeah.
All right.
Hosting your podcast here.
Yeah, go buy a shirt if you're an XL person out there who needs a shirt to show your love for the Feeding Off Each Other podcast. Go to mahalomydude.com. Use code BIGBONED for 25
Even if you're
20%
not,
off.
even if you're non-XL, you could probably just shrink the hell out of it.
Yeah, you can wash it a few
Yeah.
times, or if you're a Gen Z or wears baggy clothing, you know, you got
Totally.
that swag, man. You know, you can the loose baggy fit, right? I know that's in. Anyways,
Okay, boomer.
anything else to say to the people out there? Any last?
Just love you guys.
No, we
For
love
real.
you. Much love to the chuthers out there. All right, leave us a review, leave us a comment, leave us some love. We want to hear from you.
And as always,
Are you metaphorically full? This is feeding off each other.
I am full.
Oh yeah,
Nom, 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 nom,
that's
nom,
it.
nom, nom,
No, no,
nom,
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 no,
nom.
no, no, no.
Thank you for listening to Feeding Off Each Other. Please subscribe for more great podcasts.